if you could all grab a seat, we'll get going. Thank you all so much for coming. You had a great turnout tonight. Oh, it looks like the police did come tonight. Thank you. So my name is Linda Van Apeldoorn. I am the president for the Thomas Square Neighborhood Association. I'd like to welcome you all to our May meeting here, membership meeting. I'd also like to give a big shout out to our newest members that have joined since the last meeting, and it would be the Carmels, Jean and Bert, and then Benjamin Moore. Hello, Benjamin. Thank you for joining. And then we also had some businesses join as well. Slow Fire Barbecue. They are located in the former Beatty's location on Price and 37th. I live not too far from there. I can smell them cooking. It smells delicious. I've not had a chance to go there yet. And Starlin Baldwin Entertainment is, yes, Paul. And speaking of businesses, First City Brewing opened up earlier this month, and they are being very good to us. They are going to be donating 5% of their profits to the Thomas Square Neighborhood Association from now through the end of June. So stop in and drink lots. But walk. All right. Let's introduce our board members here. Our newest board member is the gentleman with the hat on. That's Greg Gogan. If you got our email, you probably saw in the email updates that Greg has joined us recently. He's taken over the spot that Jacob Jarvis left when he left the board. So he's here through the end of this year. Then we have at the end Jason Combs, who's our vice president, Tom Worley, who is our treasurer, Josh Shaw, who is our secretary, and Chris Jean, who does everything. Let's see, some updates for you that are happening in and around the neighborhood. Our next Neighbors Night Out, our last Neighbors Night Out was held at the Sexton, and they did an awesome job for us there. So thank you very much for being there. The next Neighbors Night Out is going to be June 23rd. It's going to be at the Chelsea Phillips Group Realty office, which is on Price Street. I think it's 2301 is their address. They're in the former Bryant Air building, the brick building that's down there. They did an amazing remodel job on there. They have a third floor rooftop deck, which is where we'll be hosting Neighbors Night Out if the weather cooperates. If not, it will be downstairs. So again, that's June 23rd from 6 to 8 p.m. You probably saw when you walked in that we had some postcards sitting on the back table there. Our community feedback survey is going on now and will continue to run through the end of the month. If you have not participated in that survey, please do. It's long, I'm sorry. We will never do one that long again, I promise. But it is really important. It really helps the board try and decide and determine, based on your responses, what we should be working on for the coming year. You can always find it at our website, tsnasavannah.org. When you go to our website, that's the very first thing that pops up. And these guys here and me, we worked our little legs up walking through the neighborhood. All those postcards should have been stuck in just about every doorway here in Thomas Square Neighborhood Association. And one of the things that we really found out was how many stairways there are in Thomas Square. There's a lot. So last week, I attended the city manager's quarterly meeting for the neighborhood presidents. I was shocked at how many neighborhood presidents there are. There's like 25 of us. But some of the updates that they told us about that pertain to our neighborhood specifically, number one, the 37th Street improvements. Some of you may remember that, I think it was almost 2 years ago, that the federal government granted the city $10 million to do improvements on 37th Street. They held different charrettes in and around the neighborhood, asking people what they would like to see happen on 37th Street. You know, some of the suggestions might have been like a bike lane or crosswalks and things like that. But then there was a hold put on those monies by the federal government, which lasted quite some time. But evidently the hold is lifted. We are going to get that money. So now the city has put it back on the table, and they are sending out an RFP for the design phase. And once the draft design is done, they will bring it back to us for comments on what we think of the design. And the last thing from that meeting was the stormwater utility fee is coming this fall. And the fee is based on the square foot of impervious material on your property. And so they estimate that the average homeowner will probably end up paying about $5 a month. That's pretty much all I know about it at this point in time. I know there was some information in the Savannah Morning News sometime back, and I think even the Savannah Agenda Morning had an article about it. But we are going to have somebody from the city here to speak about it in our July meeting. Again, that's going to happen in the fall. All right, so we have quite a few speakers tonight, so let's get going with that. Please wait till the end of their talk before we start asking any questions of them, okay? Because they may answer your question while they're giving their talk. First up is going to be Carl Miller. He is our neighborhood liaison from the city, and he's going to share some updates for the city, I believe.
Good evening, everyone. I have been assigned to Thomas Square to be your liaison to the city manager's office. I'll be corresponding with Linda, your president. If there are any issues or concerns that come about, I'm going to be your representative at City Hall. We've already gotten the ball rolling with some things that we're trying to work on, so I'm always accessible. Again, my name is Carl Miller. I'll be at your bi-monthly meetings, so I will be here. Sounds good. But I will be here, and again, just feel free to reach out if you have any questions, comments, or concerns.
Next, Betsy McCullough from Live Oak Library is asked to bring some updates to you from the library. Here.
Good evening. Thank you for giving me a minute. I want to just share that I brought Chip Holiday, who is our brand new deputy director. He made the right decision and moved from Memphis just 2 weeks ago. So please be welcoming to him. I want to just let you know of a couple things. We're starting our summer reading challenge June 1st. We have a community goal of 3 million minutes read. I will show up my attractive tote bag that you as a grown-up can get for 10 hours reading. But we also, that program goes all summer long. There are second harvest lunches being served at Bull Street and 7 other locations within our system for children 0 to 18. There's a program for everyone between June and July. And on that note, we have a live stream of a TED Democracy talk, which is coming from Philly on June 13th. There are 3 sessions. There's a card at the back that gives you some more details. That's live streaming for free at you'll have to go out of the neighborhood to the Southwest Chatham Library, but I think it's going to be worth it. The final thing is, put on your calendar now that we have booked the fabulous Equinox Orchestra for a repeat performance on the steps of the Bull Street Library on September 4th in the evening. And we are looking forward to that event. It was magical last year. It will be even more magical this year. Thanks for your time. And if you don't have your library card, well, shame on you.
Yeah, that concert was great last year. I'm really looking forward to you guys having them back again. And I'm sorry, I don't know the officers' names, but if you guys want to come up and fill us in on what's happening in our neighborhood, that'd be great.
Good evening. My name is Officer Jolisa Lewis. I am Citrus Precinct new Neighborhood Resource Officer. So anybody has complaints, everything will come to me and I will deal with everything. This is Lieutenant Smith. He is our commander over Central Precinct as well. I can say Thomas Square, you all do amazing at communicating with each other. You all do amazing at communicating with us. So a lot of your crime has now gone down. I can say East 31st and East 32nd. The larcenies has picked back up. I'm pretty sure it's the unhoused just getting little random things out of people's yards. So if you do decide to put trash out, you can always call 311 to come schedule and get that instead of just leaving it out. That way nobody won't come and trespass on you guys' yard. Do you all have any questions for me? I will leave my information with Miss Linda, and she can pass it all out to you guys, okay? Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Who's up next? Oh, Josh Yellen and his crew are up next, and they're going to tell us about some very interesting happenings that are going on at 28 Maupas Avenue, and that's the building right behind the old Savannah Mission.
Thank you. Thanks, Linda, and thanks everyone for having us here. Nice to see so many familiar faces, and always good to be back with the Neighborhood Association. With us, we do have John and Chase, so we have the owner of the property along with the future tenant of the property. But this is for a proposed new theater at 25 Maupas. Y'all would know it, it's the metal shed steel building on the corner. John recently put up a very nice new fence, which has been very attractive for the area. But what we are coming here for today is a special use request because there is a theater, but the request is to also have the ancillary alcohol sales that go along with it. As many of y'all are probably aware, not the easiest way to do business if you have a theater without alcohol. As we were talking to Beth before, this is very similar to what Front Porch has, where they have their ancillary alcohol sales. It supports the operations, it helps the tenant, it helps everyone have a better time there and come out and see some live performances. That's enough from my end. I know you probably have more questions or concerns from Chase, and so I'll turn it over there.
Great, nice to meet everybody here. I think I talked with a lot of you before the meeting started, but my wife and I, we founded New Oak Theater. We are a relatively new theater company that's come to Savannah. We actually had one other previous season before this over at Tidy Post Theater, where we had 2 shows, and we're very excited to begin partnering with John and be at this prospective location. We're hoping to have 4 performances this next season and hopefully grow from there. We will be doing live theater, so it's musicals and plays. Those will be going 4 to 6 weeks at a time, and we just be selling concessions and alcohol in addition to those plays. Do you have anything to add, John?
Nothing for me. We're happy to answer any questions that you all have.
What's the capacity? Here.
Well, what's the capacity you're planning for?
So we're planning on starting at a lower capacity, probably around 40 to 50 seats. Our goal is to eventually increase that up to no more max than about 80 seats. 80 seats would probably be our maximum capacity.
Anybody else?
Well, I may have missed this. What kind of performances will it be?
Yeah, so we're going to be doing both plays and musicals. There'll be live performances that are theater. Our goal is to do classic as well as well-known works, things that are American classics like your Tennessee Williams, your Sondheim, a lot of shows that you may have heard of before, but aren't necessarily what you see every theater performing every single time. So,
And is there parking over here?
so I don't believe are planning on having parking on the location itself right now, so it would be the other parking things that are available in the neighborhood.
This is probably a hard question to answer right now, but the HOA across the street, they were just wondering what would the latest time a show would end on a school night? There are 2 families and a few other tenants in that building.
Absolutely, that's a great question. Our shows right now are slated at the very latest to start at 7 p.m. We don't anticipate having any shows that are going longer than 3 hours. Hopefully we are trying to get you in and out and have a great show that happens in that time. I do foresee somewhere in the future we might do something that is a little bit longer, but I think nothing more than about 3.5 hours at the maximum, so that would put you out at the very latest 10:30 p.m.
Hi, I'm very excited for this. This is not a very relevant question to our neighborhood meeting, but do you have any plans to do Hamilton?
When and if they do release the rights, that is definitely something that would be something that we'd be very excited to produce.
Awesome, thank you.
Anybody else have a question? Leland, hang on.
What's the building currently zoned as? Because I thought it was like a garage, if you zoned it for a change of occupancy to like a.
The previous use was office, so we are going through change of occupancy with Metropolitan Planning Commission, have our new life safety plan. That meeting is next Thursday, June the 3rd.
Okay.
And to that point, it is commercially zoned. The theater use is approved by right. It's just the alcohol sales that require the special use approval. So everything was by right from the use, which is why they selected the site, because it's a good use for a theater in a zone that permits a theater already, but need the special approval for alcohol. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Wood.
Would the space be used for anything else during the time that it's not having shows?
No, so this would just be for the theater use and those similar type uses.
As well as rehearsals sometimes during the day.
Sure.
When do you expect to be up and running?
Yeah, our goal is to start this next season in the fall. Our goal is to produce 4 shows, like I said, this season, going over the course of fall to spring, ending in the summer. Eventually, we want to expand with our success. We would love to be eventually running year-round, but right now our plan is to just do fall and spring right now.
Okay, great. Thank you guys very, very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And if you have any additional thoughts or comments about this discussion or any of the discussions we have tonight, please feel free to send an email to contact@tsnasavannah.org. Or if you just go to our website, just go to our contact page. Okay. Natasha Gaskill was supposed to be up next from Sixpies. They're looking to expand their alcohol sales, but the city already approved that, so she didn't need to come here tonight. So what that allows them to do is simply sell a bottle of wine for in-house experience with their bread and dinners or whatever. Jerome is up next, Jerome Elder, and he is going to give us an update on 312 East 38th Street. And these folks were here about a year ago. That property right now is an empty lot that sits on Habersham and East 38th, yes. So you may have remembered when they presented before and talked about the Spudnik restaurant and apartment building that they were going to build there.
Thank you, Linda. We're gonna walk over to that side so that we're by the screen. Do nice hand signals. So just to give a general update, we did get the property rezoned to TC1. That was what we were here for last year. And in doing so, that helped us with developing the site, especially since it's such an odd-shaped site. It's actually this lot with that large triangular portion. One of the things that we were able to continue to keep consistent is the general massing. So the building size is about the same footprint, and we're actually hoping and planning on submitting this to the HPC for part 1 massing tomorrow. I just had to think about what day for the June meeting. You can go next. When we came to the neighborhood the last time, we actually showed this as being the footprint as well as the initial conceptual layout, with this area being designated for parking. Now, as you can see, we've further developed Spudnik restaurant, the parking, as well as we are hoping to provide 2 small commercial spaces. One thing that became really important, especially for Andrew, is being able to create more of an incubator size space for small business, because that's what helped him be successful with Spudnik. He's able to get a space that's about 750 square feet, a little more than what he initially needed. He made it work, but he got some seating in it. But these are about 500 square feet, plus or minus. It could go up a little more if needed. And then, as you can see, on the southern side of the property, Spudnik anchors the corner. And for him, this is his opportunity to now take Spudnik to that next level. It'll become the primary location for Spudnik, with the downtown Spudnik acting as the secondary location. And he's been working with my team on new ideas towards design and really making it an even more inviting place to go to. With that being said, so we're keeping as much commercial activation on the street level. The primary entrance for the upper levels, which would be for residential, we have 7 apartments, which are 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and one bedroom. So there are 4 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and one bedroom. And those will just be apartments up there. You can go next, please. Go one more. The floor plan doesn't necessarily matter, but you can keep going once more. So this is what we had initially shown when we were here last, just dealing with conceptual massing. Because I think one of the questions that people had was, how are you going to treat this, especially that, next slide, the odd angle. We were able to better develop it, keep setbacks on the second floor, above the second floor, especially along Habersham on the northern portion of the building. And I think if you go to the next slide, you'll start seeing how that started evolving, and there'll be more images. So you start seeing where we have it stepped back. We did try to accentuate this corner, and we've been working through the development of this massing to give it a little movement, let it not feel as large as an overall mass. Go again. So here's a potential rendering. This is part 1, so the materials don't necessarily matter for this particular meeting, but we wanted to give a sense of the direction that it's heading in terms of materiality with brick, using 2 colors, trying to really break up the facade so that it doesn't just feel like another large building in the district. Sure. And that's just from the southern view. You could go again, because I think it helps a lot. We're still in the process of massing the neighboring building, but it's a little taller than that, but this is the direction that we are at with massing. Press next again. And because this building is one that has 2 facades, we still wanted to make sure that the southern facade that faces East 38 has a little bit of presence that meets the street. And what we tried to include was, currently there are some stairs that are there, and we plan on redoing the stairs. These are about the same location as that, and it will go up to a small elevated portion of the dining room area. That's all I have.
How many residential units total?
7.
Where are the trees on the border of the building?
We will be addressing, so for this one, we just have, if you go back actually,
Yeah, there's one
you'd
that
see
has
the
trees.
tree lawns. So we will have tree lawns and there will be trees added, and that's something that we'll be addressing as we move forward in the process. I know the renderings didn't show that per se, but it's because we're just trying to make sure that people understood the massing of the building.
Wait, let me get you your microphone because people want to be able to hear your question.
Were you required to install parking underground or in the building itself?
Yes, so we have off-street parking that's all under the building, and also some of the parking is also into the garage space that you saw on the side.
And how
So
many
there's
parking?
7.
Everybody told us 7.
Yes.
Anybody else?
Are the commercial spaces gonna be retail?
Well, one is Spudnik, so a restaurant, and the other 2, we're not sure yet what they will be, but he is hoping to let them go to incubators. So it could be retail, it could be food and beverage, like what he had to do, but we'll see.
Anybody else? All right, great. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate your time. Yeah. All right, so next up we have Carolina Braunschweig and Brent Watts. Did Brent make it? Very good.